Growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook. Congrats, your business is doing great. All your hard work is paying off, but you need help like now, and you have to hire fast. How can you hire amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. And with sponsored jobs, your posts jump to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. One of the things I love most about Indeed is that it has one of the largest databases of job seekers, giving employers access to a wide range of candidates. And with job alerts, I get notified when new candidates apply. And with Indeed sponsored jobs, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. So how fast? Well, in the minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need. This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 26. Can I get a...
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He uses a bamboo cutting board as a mouse pad. Pat Flynn.
While DIY website tools are everywhere, most fall short on design and performance. Hit publish. Framer ships your site worldwide in seconds. No code, no compromises. Framer is a powerful, user-friendly platform that delivers developer-level results without writing a single line of code. Make your designs move and convert with Framer. Framer brings your site to life with powerful animations, dynamic content handling, and a design-first approach that helps your site stand out. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. Browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something of your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, scroll and looping animations, and much more in seconds. And it's free to start. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting of generating starter layouts and can even translate your entire site to any language. On the back end, you'll get responsive breakpoints, built-in hosting, a flexible CMS, and privacy-friendly analytics. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Running a business means legal questions are inevitable. Is this contract or agreement solid? What can I do if a client won't pay me? Am I set up properly for taxes? Well, rather than trying to navigate all of this on your own or searching endlessly online, imagine having a law firm on your side without the high hourly rates. That's exactly what Legal Shield's small business plans offer. With Legal Shield, entrepreneurs get access to real legal support, contract reviews, collection letters, guidance on business formation, and even help handling IRS audits. Members can book consultations, upload documents through the app, and work with a provider law firm that understands small business laws in your state. You also get proactive help on tax and trademark questions so you can stay ahead of legal risks. And if a client delays payment, Legal Shield can send professional collection letters to help you recover what you're owed, all for a fraction of what traditional attorneys charge. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Hey, everybody, what's up? And welcome to the 26th session of the SPI podcast. I hope all is well. I'm feeling good today, and I hope you are too. A few quick and important announcements before we get right into the content. First, and I've mentioned this on the blog already, I am super stoked to be speaking at a couple of events over the next month. I was kindly invited to speak at the Financial Bloggers Conference in Chicago at the end of September, and to be honest, this will be my first speaking event. And as comfortable as I am behind the microphone here on the podcast, I am a little bit nervous. And that said, I am really glad that I decided to do these podcasts unedited, of course, except when inserting interviews and doing intros and things like that, because I know I've improved since I first started. And when I record my podcasts, I imagine I'm speaking to a friend, and I'll do the exact same thing live, except it'll be to a bunch of friends at the same time. I picked up a book called Stand and Deliver. It's a Dale Carnegie book. I don't know if you know who that is, one of the best, greatest speakers of all time. And it's really helped me shape my presentation and how I'll be approaching the entire event. So hopefully it'll go well. One takeaway I can give you, something that I learned from this book and some other sources too about public speaking. And this may sound kind of obvious, but it is to make sure you know what you're talking about. And if you can do that, anything you do will be as easy as pie. And luckily, I'll be talking about something I feel I know a lot about and something that's a big passion of mine, blogging. So I shouldn't have any trouble, hopefully, and I'm really looking forward to it. I also put in a proposal to speak at Blog World Expo in LA in November, and it was accepted. This is super cool because I'll be speaking on the monetization track at the largest blogging conference in the world, and I'm extremely happy because speaking at Blog World this year was actually one of my goals that I outlined at the beginning of this year. So thanks to all of you for your support, and if you will be there, I would love to meet you. Just please come up to me and say hi. I cannot wait to meet all of you who will be there in LA with me. And lastly, there is this thing called the Podcast Awards, and I don't know if you know about this. I didn't know about it until recently, until I got a bunch of emails from Smart Passive Income fans saying they voted for the SPI podcast, which is awesome. And apparently, this is a huge deal. Last year, over 1 million people came to the voting site last year, and winners could get some major exposure. So if you're up to it, I'm not forcing you to do this, but if you're up to it, I would love to have your vote. Of course, only if you feel the podcast deserves to win. And you can mention the podcast in the business section and the People's Choice category at podcastawards.com. Again, the People's Choice and business category at podcastawards.com. And if you do vote, please let me know. Send me a message on Facebook, Pat on Facebook.com, because I want to thank you personally for your support. It would be so awesome to win since the awards are being held at Blog World Expo this year. As I just mentioned, I'll be speaking at that, so it would be perfect. If I don't win, that's totally fine. There are a ton of other great podcasts out there that deserve recognition. And already I feel like a winner because a lot of you have already voted and nominated me. So thank you. Again, that's podcastawards.com. Okay, so that's enough for announcements. Let's get right into the content. Today we're going to talk about two types of relationships that you need to build online in order to build a successful online presence, whether you want a popular blog, a thriving business, more customers, and ultimately more income. And the first one I want to talk about, the first thing I want to talk about is why relationships in general are important. especially online. To illustrate the importance of relationships online, let's actually look at relationships in our lives offline. Now you might be like, but Pat, online is totally different than offline. What's the point? Well, the point is, yes, they are different, but to me, they shouldn't be different. Why should the fact that we're doing business online make doing business different in respect to relationships to people if we're doing business offline, like in a brick and mortar store? So, of course, doing business online gives us the capability to do wonderful things like have our stores open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, even on holidays, to anyone and everyone who has access to a computer. I mean, that's amazing. And it also gives us the ability to target people using keywords and advertising and things like this, so we can get in front of people who are looking for the information that we have to provide much easier than ever before in the history of time. But that doesn't change the fact that no matter the method or medium for doing business, business is all about relationships. And as I'm sure you know, being in a good relationship, in real life with your family or a significant other, that can make you feel like you're on top of the world, like everything in your life is perfect. And on the flip side, bad relationships can, ruin your day. The same goes online. Actually, let me scratch that. Those things that are magnified online, especially now with social media and everyone sharing anything and everything about their lives, including where they shop, who they read, and what they purchased. If someone has a great experience, they're going to share it. And I know I do when I have a great experience with a company or something that I've done. I share that on Facebook. And because of the relationships that people have with their friends online, they influence the decisions that their friends make. If they have a bad experience, which, as you probably know, more people are likely to share than good experiences, then that influence still plays a major role as far as what their friends end up doing because of what they read from whatever their friends have done with companies or whatever they read or anything like that. So I know, for example, I've not seen a movie or two because of the bad reviews that my friends have left. I don't want to waste my money on something that, a lot of the friends I have said it's just not worth it. Anyways, going back to the importance of relationships offline, a life without relationships, and by relationships, I don't mean a boyfriend or girlfriend or a wife or husband, although that is a part of it. What I mean by relationships is simply contact or interaction and befriending of others. A life without that isn't really much of a life at all. I mean, is it? At least I know for, at least how I feel and how most people feel, they feel that that's the case. Although, of course, there are those people out there who can do perfectly well on their own without any interaction with other people at all. And that's totally cool. But online, it's the same way. I mean, in order to build a successful brand and give life to what you're trying to do online, you've got to build relationships too. The contact, the interaction, again, the befriending of others is what will take your business somewhere. Many bloggers have talked about this before, the importance of not feeling like you're the only one, or the idea that you shouldn't try and do all this on your own. A lot of people have talked about this before, and I can tell you from my own experience that the relationships I have made with people online have had a direct effect on my success. Now, you might remember that I mentioned that there are two types of relationships you should try to build in order to succeed online, and I'll go over those two types right now. First is the relationship between you and your audience. And the second one is actually the relationship between you and the other people in your space. They are each important for different reasons, and I'll go over how to go about building these relationships and why and how they can help what you're doing online. The first one is a little bit more obvious than the second, of course, the relationship you have with your audience. We should all strive to build a good relationship between ourselves and those who are reading our blogs or who are visiting our websites or who are buying our products. Basically, all those people who are viewing our brand as a consumer. There are a few things we can do, that sort of automatically create these relationships as we do our business online. Primarily, we just have to be personable. And here's a question to think about. When your audience comes to you or asks you a question, are they asking your company a website, or are they asking you, using your name? Are they asking you, or are they asking your company? If they are asking you, then you're on the right track. You're becoming personable. And the thing is, people develop relationships with other people, period. People develop relationships with other people. Maybe robots too, I guess. But even still, the robots that you see, I can't believe I'm talking about robots right now, but on TV and in the movies, you see robots and people befriending them. Well, those robots have personality. They are human-like, like a person that they can relate to, which is why people develop relationships with them and become friends. Like Johnny Five. I don't know if all of you know who Johnny Five is, or Wall-E, the Disney robot character. We all feel for that robot. Okay, I'm getting way off the topic here, but I think you're getting my point. If you're just a website with some information on it and that has no personality, you're not going to do as well. Does this mean you have to reveal personal information about yourself on your site? No, I mean, not at all. Although, the more you share, the more people will be interested in it and be able to connect with you like you're a real person. Just be careful and use common sense. What would you want to know about someone who you might be potentially following or might buy something from online? And you could have fun with it too, like I do in the intros of my podcast. And I know that those little tidbits about myself help you and I connect a little bit more, so you could know me, just a little bit more as a real person rather than just some voice spitting out information on this podcast. Now, of course, relationships aren't everything. It's just a part of the overall scheme of things, but we all know how important content is and user experience, so I don't want you to forget about those things. And you can try to develop relationships with your audience online, but what's really going to skyrocket your brand is if you have that rapport plus killer content and user experience with your brand. There's nothing that can stop you if you have those three things working with you: the relationships you have with your audience, the killer content that you have that you give to them, and the user experience, or the experience that people have when they're on your site or they are experiencing your brand. Really though, just love your readers. Love your readers. They each have the choice to read whatever they want, to visit whatever website in the world that they have access to, but they choose to spend time and read you. So you've got to make sure you make them feel special and somehow thank them for choosing you over others. And this is something I live by, loving your readers, because I know that you, the listener, don't have to listen to this podcast. You choose to do that. You don't have to read the Smart Passive Income blog, but you choose to do that. And I want to make sure it's all worth your while. So in order to love your readers, this is for those of you who have web properties and who have an audience, in order to love your readers, do the following. First and foremost, just give them what they want. Not what you want, give them what they want. Many bloggers, including myself at times, and this was me especially when I first started out, we write for ourselves. We write for our computer screens, or we write for search engines rather than our audience. Definitely write for your audience, because if you do that, the search engines will do their own thing and reward you in the future, because that they want to be human-like. Search engines are trying their hardest. Google's doing these algorithm updates to try and become as human-like as possible. And the more you can write for an audience, and again, increase the value that you have in your content and the user experience people have on your site, the better you will rank in Google. So, I mean, just immediately just focus on your audience and what your content means to them. Give them what they want. So this means understanding first who your audience is and what their wants, needs, and desires are. And if you don't know that, you have a bit of research to do. To find out, you can just simply ask or listen or find out, sort of what other sites who are similar to yours are doing to meet the wants, needs, and desires of your audience. And the second thing is, and I've touched on this before, is just provide unique content. This is a given, and even though today, as far as unique content is concerned, it's hard to be 100% unique. There's only so much we can make up on our own, and a lot of it is repurposing or being inspired by others and putting our own voice to it. But you can be 100% unique in the way you deliver what is being said. Again, no one is like you. Nobody is like you. So if you could put some of your personality into it and some of your own voice and your delivery, then it'll automatically be that much more unique and stand out from the crowd. The second thing you should do, in addition to just giving them what they want, is to reciprocate. So when someone does something for you, you should at least try to do something, do your best to do something in return for them. So for example, if someone leaves a comment, you can reply back. That little gesture can go a very, very long way. And I know it's impossible to respond to each and every comment, but if someone leaves a fantastic, wonderful, and awesome comment that just totally adds value to the post that you just wrote, reciprocate and reply. It doesn't take that long. And I know a few bloggers who have told me straight up that they just don't read the comments that their readers make on their posts. I mean, so much for caring for your readers, right? I mean, another example comes in the form of an acronym. This is another example of reciprocating. RAOK. I can't really say that. RAOK. RAOK. I'll just say RAOK. That acronym stands for Random Acts of Kindness. Sometimes a reader of yours will perform an RAOK towards you or your business, whether it's something like a donation or a blog post mention or a retweet or a share on Facebook or something like that. It could be anything, really. Something out of the ordinary that just surprises you, a random act of kindness. When that happens, you should do something in return. I mean, it doesn't even have to take that long, but that acknowledgement that that this person did this, random act of kindness for you can go a very, very, very long way and can lead to more random acts of kindness, not only from just that person, but from other people who are witnessing that happen and witnessing you acknowledge that happen. This will help your business grow without you even having to do anything in the long run, because the people who you obviously care about are doing it all for you. It's great. Now, on the flip side, you can really make a difference as well by performing your own RAOKs. And when they are out of the blue, it could just really create lifelong fans for you. One thing I like to do is read some articles from some of the people who comment on Smart Passive Income blog and then feature the best ones that I read in a post without even telling them. Other times I'll just randomly email a commenter and thank them for their comment. Not automatically with a plugin. I know there's plugins that can automatically do that. But with a real email for myself. And, those little small gestures can really go a long way. I know for me, when someone does something like that for me, it implants a little seed in my head that this person really cares, and I will do whatever I can to support this person in the future. And lastly, and this is huge for me and my way of loving my readers, is to just simply skip the sales pitch and just be real. If you know the Smart Passive Income blog and you've been a part of my brand for a while, you know that I don't do any sales pitches, and I always like to keep it real. As my buddy Corbett Barr from thinktraffic.net likes to say, the best sales pitch ever is no sales pitch at all. I love that quote. The best sales pitch ever is no sales pitch at all. And I think that's why Corbett and I are just such good friends. Don't sell, make recommendations. Don't hype, but reveal what will really happen. Now, don't try to make money from people. Give as much high-value information as possible and have them want to pay you back in return. Those are three things, that I just live by and love and have always paid me back. So I'll go over them one more time for you. 1, don't sell, make recommendations. 2, don't hype, but reveal what really will happen. And 3, don't try to make money from people. Give as much high-value information as possible and have them want to pay you back in return. If you love your readers to death and build strong bonds with them, when you do eventually come out with your own product or course, or you do recommend a product as an affiliate, there will be no convincing necessary because they will already know exactly who you are and what you can provide for them. So that's the first kind of relationship you need to have, and that's, again, the relationship you have with your audience or your customers or your subscribers. Now, the second kind of relationship you need that goes beyond that is a relationship you have with your peers or those who are doing things similar to you. Some people might call this networking, and yes, that's exactly what it is, but to be honest, I'm not a big fan of that word. I'm not a big fan of the word networking because networking, it's just so business related. Like there's some sort of self-propelled hidden agenda involved with reaching out and meeting people. And I think it should be about creating relationships first and real friendships that, as a result or a bonus of doing that, can help our businesses, not the other way around. The thing is, it's not always easy to develop these kinds of relationships because, one, it can be hard to find these people. Obviously, two, when we do find them, we might feel like they're our competitors. So why would we want to develop relationships with them in the first place? That's something that's very common. Number three, it can be utterly intimidating. And four, we might not understand the point of building these relationships. And to help us understand this point, I'm going to reference a blog post that my good friend Glenn Alsop from viperchill.com, again, he was also a guest on the SPI podcast. I think it was session number 3, way in the early days of the podcast back in 2010. He wrote a post entitled, "The Secret to Growing Your Blog Twice as Fast with Half the Effort." I'll have a link on the show notes, smartpassiveincome.com/session26 for the show notes. In this post, Glenn outlines the importance of finding a blogging buddy or a blogging duo, someone in your industry who you can work with to help each other out and take both of your blogs to the next level. Now, quite coincidentally, he mentions the duo from the personal finance niche, two people who I will hopefully have the pleasure of meeting in a couple of weeks at the Financial Bloggers Conference, JD Roth from GetRichSlowly.org and Trent from TheSimpleDollar.com. Both of these sites I used to read actually while at work when I still had my architectural job. Now, both of them, JD and Trent, started their blogs at the exact same time, both in 2006. They mentioned each other in several posts. They have both grown at the exact same rate and now both have over 100,000 subscribers, and they each have their own published books too. Glenn mentions that they may or may not have strategically formed this alliance on purpose, but it sort of just happened, and they both helped each other out, and they both have grown as a result of both of them helping each other out. And to me, having a blogging duo is a fantastic idea, but I like the idea of having a group of friends, more than just one other person in the same space who share the same values as I do, who I can bounce ideas off of, who I can help if they ever need it, who can help me if I ever need help. In other words, a sort of mastermind group. And I want to talk about mastermind groups in a second because they played a huge role in my success. There are different kinds of mastermind groups. There's the informal one, sort of like what just JD and Trent had, where they just sort of help each other out every now and then and grow organically. But there's the formal kind of mastermind group, which I've talked about on the blog before, where there are scheduled meetings and hot seats where one person out of the entire group may share something that they are doing that the others in the group can benefit from. And then also he or she may ask for help that the group can collectively share their advice for. I absolutely love mastermind groups. They help me focus. They help me stay accountable for my actions. And they teach me things I would have never found out on my own, things that are based on other people's actual real-life experiences that they're using in their own businesses. And they are a source of inspiration for me, and they're a great source of creating friends and relationships, which as a bonus, like I said before, help my business get to the next level. Now, I encourage all of you who really want to succeed to look at becoming a part of some sort of mastermind group. And this concept isn't new. It's something that the great author Napoleon Hill wrote about in Think and Grow Rich. And when you think about it, there was probably mastermind groups throughout history, millions of instances of mastermind groups throughout history, people who share a common interest, who all get together to learn from each other and collectively achieve their goals, from cavemen going on a hunt to entrepreneurs planning their next $1 million venture. Now, I'm currently in 3 mastermind groups. That's how much I love them. I'm in 3 of them. 2 of them meet for an hour each week, and the other is just more of an informal type of group where we can all use each other as a resource if any of us need help on something, which is helpful as well. I used to be in another one that actually met in person here in San Diego, but that split up because people moved out. And the formal groups that I'm currently a part of meet via Skype or over the phone. And you can become a part of or set up a group, a mastermind group with people from all around the world. You don't need to meet in person or be in the same location. Skype and GoToMeeting, or even just a conference call using a resource like freeconferencecall.com. Totally free. You can even record the calls on freeconferencecall.com. So definitely check that out. You don't have to be in the same spot, and you can meet however often you wish. It depends on the group. Now, if there was more time in the day and more days in the week, I would love to join even more mastermind groups. They are that valuable to me, and I'll tell you why. In one of my mastermind groups, for example, this was back in 2008, a member of the same group I was in suggested that I write an ebook for this website I had that was teaching people how to pass the elite exam. I've talked about this story before plenty of times, and most of you know what happened. Well, I was talked into writing this ebook. I was given some tips about how to go about formatting it and selling it, and in the first month made nearly $8,000 because of that advice. Amazing, life-changing advice coming out of this mastermind group, and much more money came as a result of that advice as time went on. And the same group suggested I create an audio guide to go along with it. After we got back together, I told them about how successful the ebook was. They suggested that I do an audio guide, and that nearly doubled my income once it was produced. I owe so much to mastermind groups, which is why you'll always hear me talk up a storm about them. So the question is, how do you get into a mastermind group, or how do you find them? And the best and easiest way is to just simply ask around. More likely than not, you'll probably have people say no, or they don't know what it is, or they're not part of one. But you may never know who may be a part of these kinds of things. And if you ask and they do say no, and if they're people who you might feel like would be a good person to be in a mastermind group with, you can just follow up by seeing if they'd be interested in joining one with you. And you can just start your own from there. A lot of groups start on their own. Obviously, they've got to start somewhere, right? Some are invite only, and there are actually a few websites out there. You can look them up on Google. Just look up how to find a mastermind group, or in Google, you'll find a few kind of resources that may or may not fit your particular industry. Meetup.com is another place you can go to, which you can actually look for actual groups of people who meet in your area live in person, which is fantastic. And I'll talk more about that in a second. Maybe there's forums in your respective niche that you can go to see if other people are interested in having a weekly kind of mastermind call with you. Sometimes if you're a major player and you get on other people's radars, you can get an invite, which is what happened to me for one of mine. The other group that I have, we just started it on our own. So check it out. Try to get involved as much as you can. You can learn a ton of stuff from people while giving back with some of your own experiences at the same time. Now, besides mastermind groups and blogging duos, you can more easily develop relationships with other people in your space by just using the tools that you already have. You could use your own website, your own blog, and sometimes it's as easy as just mentioning an individual or another blog a few times in a post here and there. And what happens is, because you mention or link to them, they'll get notified through a trackback or a Google alert if they have that set up. And if you say good things about them or you help them out in some way, it sort of becomes like that random act of kindness that I talked about earlier, and they could take notice of that and reach out back to you and maybe link back to your blog and reciprocate, or find you on Twitter and Facebook and strike up a conversation, which could lead to, who knows what, awesome things, maybe potential JV partnerships or joint venture partnerships. You could also take it a step further and leave a valuable comment on a colleague's blog. And I've gotten to know several people in my niche through comments made on the Smart Passive Income blog. Several people who are now my good friends, and I've linked to them several times and chat with them on Skype. It's amazing what a standout comment can really do. It sort of just opens up lines of communication, which is important. And same principles can be used on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, making sure to tag people who you feel are good potential colleagues in your niche. And notice how I say colleagues instead of competitors. Personally, I feel it's dangerous to think of people who are in the same space as us as competitors, because immediately that, just using that word competitors and visualizing them as someone who you're competing against, that sort of just breaks up the potential bond that we could have with other brands, which could end up helping both brands on the long run. And it's better to be someone's friend than be someone's enemy, in my opinion. You know, work together, not against each other. That's what I like to say. So probably the best way, really, to connect with people in your space is to meet them in person. There's nothing like meeting someone in person. And there's no better place to do that than at a conference or some sort of gathering or a convention where people in your industry all get together, since many of those people will be there for the purposes of networking and building new relationships that will help hopefully take their businesses to the next level, just like you want to. For the upcoming Financial Bloggers Conference, I'm sure a lot of these people in the financial blogging space will be doing just that. This is just like how I became good friends with several people last year at Blog World Expo in Las Vegas in 2010. One of those people being Corbett Barr. That's where I met Corbett at Blog World, and you've heard me mention him several times on the blog as a special guest in 2 of the podcasts also, and even earlier in this session I mentioned his name. In person, you can really get to know someone for who they really are. So do what you can to meet as many people as possible, if possible, of course. If you are truly serious about what you're doing online, this should be a no-brainer for you. And you'll really try to go that extra step to meet people in your industry. And it'll be something that, for most of us, is out of our comfort zone. But it's just putting yourself out there, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I like to say, if you're doing business and you're always comfortable, you're not going to the next level. You're not taking bold actions, stepping out of your box and doing things that'll take you to the next level. And check this out. If you don't think there's a conference or convention or gathering that you could potentially go to for your particular niche, you might be interested to know that I found a conference for sock knitters, people who knit socks. It's called the Sock Summit, and it's held in Portland. And so there's got to be one for what you're doing, right? You could probably do a quick Google search for any type of conference or convention for what you do online, and you're more than likely to find something. So to reiterate, with all these things we do online, it all comes down to relationships. Even the content you write, the videos you produce, any podcasts that you record, and even the very ideas that you have in your head right now, it all eventually leads to the people. Not search engines, not for you, but it's for other people. And those things should enhance the relationships that you have with those people, because those people are what can make or break your blog or your business, and also your bottom line. And remember, and I've said this earlier in the podcast, nobody is like you. So you know, all of us, we have the crazy ability to create a unique relationship with anybody, unlike anyone else can. So go out there, make some friends, and together make the internet a better place and keep it real. That's all I got to say. So we're about a half hour in, and that's all I got. So thank you for all your support. And again, please check out podcastawards.com and vote for the SPI podcast if you feel it deserves recognition. Thank you so much. The show notes can be found at smartpassiveincome.com/session26. And if you're listening to this particular episode, let me know what you think. Head on over to patonfacebook.com, which will redirect you to my Facebook page, and just say hi, say what's up, and I want to say hi back to you. So take care. All the best to you. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? Record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips. Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. Look, I get it. You want to grow your business, but trying to sell to hundreds or even thousands of people gets very exhausting very fast. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? Score App helps you sell to more people without adding more to your plate. You build a quiz or assessment that your audience actually wants to take. Then they answer a few quick questions and get a personalized result right away. It shows them where they're at and what they need to do next and how you can help. And you build huge amounts of trust before you make even a single offer. No hard sell, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. All you have to do is just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.